At the end of last year, I used this very simple ICT strategy that got me funded with over 150k in prop firm capital. In a few easy steps, I'll show you guys how you can achieve this by yourselves. Now, the strategy is not very complex and doesn't even require a lot of knowledge over ICT's concepts itself. The three main things we're focusing with this is the fair value gap, liquidity, and time and price. Now, I do have a little example of each for those who are not sure of what these concepts mean or how they work, but it's pretty simple, right? So just a fair value gap. Most of us have seen a fair value gap. It's a 3-candle pattern, as you guys can see. We got this down closing candle over here. We got this another one followed by another down closing candle over here, and then this up closing candle, right? And then the gap that gets left between these 3 candles, that's your fair value gap. It's pretty simple. Most people are aware of how fair value gaps work and how you can use them. And then just falling into some liquidity. I mean, age old, above swing highs and above swing lows. There's stops resting and the market tends to draw to those areas, sweeping out some liquidity. Simple, not too complex. Now the final boss is time and price. So in my opinion, I think what really makes this work is utilizing the fact that we use hourly candles as our daily candle. So this is an example of Monday on the 13th of Jan, and I was looking for that 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. candle to be bearish. So we open, and I always mark it like this as well when I'm trading. It helps me visualize everything. So we mark the 10 a.m. open, and then boom, we immediately sweep up, taking out this buy side liquidity. That's beautiful. I want to see manipulation. I want to see breakout traders getting trapped long, and then we push back down. Now look at how it closes below that 10 a.m. open. That's a sign almost that the manipulation leg for me is done, and it leaves a beautiful fair value gap. Boom, right there. Trades back up into it a few minutes later. Basically no drawdown on this trade at all. And then your stop could easily rest above this high or the midpoint of this bullish candle over there or order block. We'll trade back down, sweeping this sell side liquidity. The reason I didn't target this low would be because it's a Monday, right? You want to look for big trades on Mondays. The market tends to not move as much or as far or as volatile as other days of the week. Instead of a random example, I'm going to explain to you guys a trade I did actually take using this exact strategy on the markets earlier this week. Looking at the charts, this is very similar to what we just spoke about. 10 a.m. open happens, we push up immediately. Now in this example, I did buy right after we swept these highs, but it's always a little bit different. In this scenario, we were very bullish. We inverted a big 4-hour fair value gap as well as a 1-hour. So I felt pretty confident in longing in this fair value gap to take out some buy side liquidity that was resting way back when. As soon as we formed this fair value gap, I left a buy order with 3 micro contracts resting in the fair value gap. We get tapped in a few minutes later, and immediately we see bullish price action. We see that we push back up, then we come back down to that order block. Price respects the order block, and then we shoot up, taking out this buy side liquidity. Even better example, on Friday the 17th, which was only yesterday, price opens up at 10 a.m. So we usually mark it out, and we manipulate back up into this 1-hour fair value gap. Now look at the bodies of these candles. They weren't even willing to close within this hourly fair value gap. And immediately I was waiting for a displacement down and a fair value gap, which we do end up getting over here for an entry. As soon as we tap into this fair value gap, I was short with 3 micros once again, and then price did take some time. It pushed back up into this order block, but the body's respecting it beautifully over there. Get some nice displacement a few minutes later down to the final TP, which was this 959 low. As you guys can see, it's a very simple and easy to understand strategy. For those who need more help and require more attention, I do have a Discord. It's free to join. I'm also running a mentorship for those who really want to take it to the next step and get serious about achieving profitability in 2025.